All right, starting a little bit into the work here, but that's fine. I'm actually going to try and video some of the work as well as, just do a better job taking you along the way. So, building a new awning. My old one, I had pointed out before, it's too short. Is pouring water right on here. I did like a little PVC drain extension, but I just want to do something nice now. So, my first step was I did careful measuring on where the studs would be because this is just a brick veneer. So I measured back and found where I'm going to mount my new awning supports here with these big structural lag screws. So I've got a set on that side, a set on that side, and I'm going to make it all out of wood, do a little metal roof, and then do a gutter that goes out over that, and then do a rain chain down. That's my plan for getting water out from just pooling right there. So yeah, this is my awesome cut list / plans / shopping list. And again, I did already start these. These are going to be on the wall on either side of the door. It's going to hold a ledger behind it, and then I'm going to do a half flat 45 of another post up into the rest of the roof. And I'm going to figure out some slight pitch for the roof because it's not going to be that long. It's just going to be 36 inches out, and we'll go from there. I just realized, depending upon my plan, I cut all the middle ones 3 inches too long. But I guess that's fine. Alright. Probably a way to do this with measuring and math and all that stuff, but I'm not feeling like that. Basically, plan is this is slightly sloping down. It's 10 degrees. There's going to be a back ledger there. Going to fasten that to all of these stringers, whatever you call them, and then at 2 points here, I want this a 45 half lapped into here to connect up to here. I probably want it to look, I don't know, I don't want it too far down, but maybe like a third of the way down. And then same thing, I'll probably have it half lap connect into the ceiling portion of it. It's gonna look something like that. How does that look? Hey, you've got a little bit better of a look at it than I do. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna pick a measurement, mirror it on both sides, and then I'll just trace and do the half flap up there. It all should be complementary angles, and I know all my angles here. All right, math's coming in. So, because I know this is going to be a 45 and I did a 10-degree slope, I can figure out all my complementary angles, and I can figure out how to cut it. I'll probably just do all the half flaps on the miter saw. So, yeah, like I said, figure out where I want to put it here, and then I make 2 of them, and I'll do a better job explaining it next time around. Oops, that's the next thing I do have to remember. I did pre-drill where all my bolts are going to go. So I'm going to go quick double check those, measure that out again, make sure I don't put my arch support or my angled support where one of the bolts is going to go. Alright, they're at roughly 6/20/33. They're not exactly the same on both sides. It's probably just like a level thing because I'm just measuring down from the roof. So that'll be fun to figure out when I get there. Also haven't figured out 3/3. I probably shouldn't have done such an aggressive angle. You even see what I'm doing here? Yeah. My last one is gonna end up down here. It'll be fine now. Once I get these two posts and the back ledger on the wall, I think everything else will be smooth sailing. But I'm just kind of and hawing, and I probably just need to do it, and it'll get done. Haha. Third of the way down on 36-inch wall post is obviously 24, so I think I'm laying it out starting at 24 and doing the half lap down, because I think if I went the other way, well, one, it would interfere with the screw, and if I went on top of the screw, I don't think I would like how that looks. So that's what I'm settling on, and I have enough material here. This isn't my nicest one. I think I've got some better ones over there. But I've got enough material to figure out how to get that there. And it's not too far. It won't go past there, at least for my rough layout here. So that's what we're doing. So obviously 4x4 is 3.5 inches wide, but it always helps to double check where the center is. I just use my square to draw a line, then use, man, I'm bad at the square. Use my square, draw a line, and then from that diagonal point, I drew the line across that, so you know that's 45, and then flip it the other way to your line you just drew. That intersection there is going to be right at the center, and then again, see, it did end up right at 1 3/4 inches, so then I'm going to use that 1 3/4 line to mark out all along here, and then I'm going to use my miter saw to hog out all this material to make my half lap, and I'm going to do the same on all the other 4x4s. And that's going to take me a minute. There we go. All right, lots of cuts. That's how I do half laps on the miter. All right, I decided I'm going to do a little bit of math and show you guys what I'm thinking. So I'm still just roughly laying this out, and one of the ways to make this is you could just lay it out, mark, measure, and then you can measure all 3 lengths of the side, and that's how you figure out how you are. All right, try that again without the jackhammer. So here's my finished half lap. I've decided I'm going to do these lag screws that I have here. I'm going to just put one here. I'm going to put one into the ledger here, and then one when I do this half lap. But to measure and figure out how I'm doing this, there's a few different ways you could do it. You could just lay it out like I am and figure out your measurements and then just copy that for the other side. But to double check things, I'm going to do a little bit of geometry / trig, which is what I have sketched up here. So using a little bit of knowledge about triangles here, you know that all 3 sides of your triangles have to add up to 180 degrees. So this is 45 because that's what I want it to be. This I know is going to be 80 because I did a 10-degree slope on my thing, and with your complementary angle, your whole half of a circle here is 180. So if you know you have 90 degrees, that's how you add up to get your 80 degree here. And then 80 plus 45 is 125. So your final angle should be 55, which, using our little carpenter square here, you can see that lines up perfectly on 55 right here. So that's one way to sketch it out. Like I said, or you could just lay it out and, you know, kind of futz it around. It doesn't have to be super perfect. This is essentially just framing, and you have some amount of play, but that's how you get your layout done, to figure out all your different measurements. And so I'm gonna finish making this one, and then I'm gonna make the other side reverse. So I make sure, so it'll be symmetrical when I put it up there. Still haven't totally figured out how I'm gonna do my, what would these be? Stringers, I guess, yet. But I will, because I just realized that with my current plan, I would have to nail this to this. So what I might do is I still might actually notch out here so I have a place to nail in from the side. I think that's what's going to make sense. I forgot to film again, but I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on one of these stringers first and then do the rest while it's up in the air, so it's not too heavy to lift up there. And I'll just, I don't know, toenail it or something. Must have just missed the stud or hit the edge of the stud or something. I had to move that one bolt over, which doesn't make sense because the other two are in, but I'll have to live with it. Let's see if I can get this other one up without as much trouble. Alright, now I think what I'm going to do is attach the rest of the stringers and then this guy. Whatever that's called. Not supposed to go. Alright, so I'm thinking about how to do this. Normally to check for square you measure the diagonals, but I wasn't able to do that ahead of time, so I think I'm just going to work, honestly, probably from this side in, and I'm going to make sure that these two are parallel to each other, which they're already pretty close. And then I'm going to try and just use a square to get it square off the wall, and then measure the distance on that back ledger and this front one. And that'll probably get me close enough, because as long as I just start from this edge with the roofing, I'm going to do a little metal roofing, it will, I can kind of hide whatever over there, because I'm going to give myself actually a pretty hard time. So we'll see how that goes. See how strong it is. that's good enough. Here's where we're at. Game plan is fascia, then drip edge, then the roof, then the gable edge, then I'm going to figure out I have some end flashing, some end stop flashing for up to the gutter, which should be enough. And then the new lower gutter and rain chain. See how much of that I get done. Nice. I guess if you're really tall, you don't like that, but not for me. Not sure this is the right way to do this, but there we go. You're supposed to use like nibblers or snips or something for this, but it kind of seems like a pain. So I'm using a drywall square for my layup, and I think I'm just going to use this little cutoff loop. That's okay. Alright, here's where I'm at. Camera died. I kept working. But I've got a little bit more to do. I'll see if I can find a way to get some decent footage of up here while I'm working. So I've got the metal panel installed. You can see back there I use that angle stop to flash up against the underside of the gutter there, and then this I do need to, I think, just screw down so the water doesn't pool like that. But that is draining down that way. I've got this end gable piece to put on, which I already cut. But once I do that, then I can do the gutter and the rain chain. We'll be all set. Find a little walk through here. It's raining, so hopefully we'll get to see the rain chain in action, but hung up the gutter, tack the rain chain down to a little splash block down there. Kind of went over the framing already, but we'll just do another overview. I'd have to notch that, so I supported that. That way this door can still open. I don't know if I'll change that in the future. We've got our awning actually spaced off the wall, and then got that gable trim in. And up here, I did end up tacking down what I made into my end stop, and I think that'll work just fine. And yeah, I think it's pretty okay for a first time doing metal roofing, so see how it holds up, how it performs.